What happens when a country music superstar sits down for what should be a friendly chat about music and suddenly finds himself under attack by a host who seems more interested in stirring up controversy than having a real conversation? It only took 34 seconds of Jennifer Hudson making one shocking comment about Blake Shelton's career for the entire interview to spiral into complete chaos. Blake Shelton walked onto the Jennifer Hudson show, set that Tuesday afternoon, expecting the usual promotional interview routine. He had a new album to talk about, some funny stories from The Voice, maybe a joke or two about his life in Oklahoma. What he got instead was something nobody saw coming. Jennifer Hudson sat across from him in her bright purple dress, that famous smile plastered across her face. But there was something different about her energy that day. Something sharp, something that made Blake shift uncomfortably in his chair before they even started rolling. The cameras started recording and Jennifer jumped right in. No warm-up, no small talk, just straight to business. "Blake Shelton, everybody," she announced to her studio audience. The crowd cheered like they always do. Blake waved and smiled. Everything seemed normal. "So Blake," Jennifer said, leaning forward with her elbows on her knees, "I have to ask you something that I think everyone here is wondering about." Blake raised an eyebrow. This was not how these interviews usually started. "Sure, Jennifer, fire away. Do you ever feel like maybe your time is up? Like maybe you should step aside and let some real talent take over?" The studio went dead quiet. Blake's smile faltered for just a second. He thought maybe he heard her wrong. "I'm sorry, what now?" Jennifer laughed, but it was not a friendly laugh. It was the kind of laugh that cuts right through you. "I mean, let's be honest here. You've been doing the same thing for, 20 years? Same hat, same accent, same 3-chord songs? Don't you think country music deserves better?" Blake sat back in his chair. His jaw tightened. The audience was looking around at each other, not sure if this was supposed to be funny or not. "Jennifer, I'm not really sure where this is coming from, but I came here to talk about my new music, not to get attacked." "Attacked?" Jennifer threw her head back and laughed again. "Blake, honey, this is just a conversation. I'm asking the questions that need to be asked. The questions that other hosts are too polite to ask." "Questions like what exactly?" "Like how you can call yourself a country artist when you sound more like a pop singer trying to fake a southern accent. Like how you managed to stay on The Voice for so long when there are actual musicians who could do that job better. Like how you keep putting out the same boring music year after year, and somehow people still buy it." Blake's face was getting red now. His hands gripped the arms of his chair. "Now, hold on just a minute, Jennifer. I don't know what kind of interview you think this is, but I'm not going to sit here and let you trash my career and my music." "Your career?" Jennifer leaned back and crossed her arms. "Blake, sweetie, what career? You sing karaoke versions of real country music. You're like the McDonald's of country singers. Fast, cheap, and forgettable." The audience gasped. Some people looked shocked. Others looked uncomfortable. Blake stood up from his chair. "You know what, Jennifer? I think we're done here." "Oh, no, Jennifer said, motioning for him to sit back down. "We're just getting started. Sit down, Blake. Let's talk about how you somehow convince people you're from Oklahoma when you sound like you learned that accent from watching old westerns." "I am from Oklahoma, Jennifer. Born and raised in Ada. Something you would know if you actually did any research before bringing your guests on this show." "Research?" Jennifer scoffed. "Blake, I know everything I need to know about you. You're a manufactured country star who got lucky with a few songs and rode that wave for way too long. The real question is when you're going to admit it and step aside for artists with actual talent." Blake was standing now, his face completely red. "Artists with actual talent? Like who, Jennifer? Like you?" The crowd went silent. Jennifer's smile disappeared. "Excuse me? You heard me. Is that what this is about? You think you should be doing country music? You think you could do what I do? Blake, I have an Oscar. I have Grammys. I have actual talent, not just a fake accent and a cowboy hat. And yet here you are hosting a daytime talk show instead of making music that people actually want to hear." Jennifer's eyes went wide. She was not expecting Blake to fight back. "How dare you? How dare you come on my show and disrespect me like that?" "Disrespect you? Jennifer, you've been disrespecting me since the second I sat down. You invited me here just to tear me apart on television. What did you think was going to happen? I invited you here to have an honest conversation about your so-called career. No, you invited me here to make yourself feel better by putting me down. That's what bullies do, Jennifer. They pick on other people to make themselves look good." The audience was completely silent now. Some people had their phones out, recording everything. This was not going according to anyone's plan. "I am not a bully, Blake Shelton. I am asking the questions that need to be asked. Questions like what? Questions about my accent? Questions about whether I deserve my success? Those are not questions, Jennifer. Those are insults. And I don't have to sit here and take insults from someone who clearly has her own issues to work through. Jennifer stood up now too, her face getting darker. My issues? Blake, the only issue here is that you can't handle someone telling you the truth about your mediocre music and your fake persona. Fake persona? Jennifer, everything about me is real. I grew up on a farm in Oklahoma. I worked construction before I made it in music. I earned everything I have through hard work and dedication, something you might understand if you had to work for anything instead of getting handed opportunities because of your voice. Because of my voice? Blake, I earned my success. I won American Idol. I made movies. I won awards. Real awards. Not just country music awards that nobody cares about. Blake laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. Country music awards that nobody cares about? Jennifer, do you hear yourself right now? You're sitting here attacking an entire genre of music and everyone who works in it. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? Blake, what's wrong with you? How can you stand there and defend music that sounds like it was written by a computer program designed to appeal to the lowest common denominator? Because it's real music made by real people, for real fans who appreciate it, something you clearly don't understand. Jennifer walked around her desk, getting closer to Blake. Real fans? Blake, your fans only like you because you tell them what they want to hear. You sing about trucks and beer and small towns because you know it sells, not because you believe in it. You don't know anything about me or my fans, Jennifer, and you definitely don't know anything about country music. I know enough to recognize when someone is pretending to be something they're not. Blake shook his head and started walking toward the edge of the stage. I'm done with this, Jennifer. This is the most unprofessional interview I've ever been a part of. Don't you walk away from me, Blake Shelton. We're not finished here. But Blake kept walking. He was heading for the exit, and Jennifer was following him, her voice getting louder and more angry with every step. Don't you walk away from me, Blake Shelton. We're not finished here. But Blake kept walking. He was heading for the exit, and Jennifer was following him, her voice getting louder and more angry with every step. You think you can just walk out on my show? You think you're too good for this conversation? Blake stopped and turned around. His face was red with anger now, but he was still trying to keep his voice calm. Jennifer, I'm not too good for anything, but I am too good to sit here and be insulted by someone who clearly invited me here just to attack me. Attack you? Blake, I'm trying to have a real conversation about the state of country music and your role in dumbing it down. Dumbing it down? Jennifer, my music connects with millions of people. It makes them happy. It helps them through tough times. What more do you want from music? Jennifer laughed that sharp laugh again. I want honesty, Blake. I want authenticity. I want artists who actually believe in what they're singing instead of just following whatever formula sells the most records. You think I don't believe in my music? I think you believe in your bank account. The audience gasped again. Blake's jaw dropped. Even the camera crew looked uncomfortable. That is completely out of line, Jennifer. Is it? Blake, when was the last time you wrote a song about something that actually mattered? When was the last time you took a risk or said something important? Every song matters to someone, Jennifer. Every song I write or sing comes from somewhere real. Oh, please. Blake, your songs are about as real as a $3 bill. They're manufactured in Nashville by teams of writers who know exactly what buttons to push to make people buy records. Blake started walking back toward her, his anger finally taking over. You know what, Jennifer? You want to know what's real? I'll tell you what's real. Real is growing up poor in a small town where music was the only thing that made sense. Real is playing in honky-tonks for $20 a night and being grateful for it. Real is working your way up from nothing and never forgetting where you came from. But that's not your story, is it, Blake? That's the story your publicist created for you. That is my story. That is my life. And I'm not going to let you sit there and tell me it's not real. Jennifer crossed her arms and stared at him. Prove it. Prove what? Prove that you're not just another fake country star with a manufactured image. Prove that there's something real underneath all that Oklahoma good old boy nonsense. Blake stared back at her for a long moment. The studio was so quiet, you could hear the air conditioning humming. I don't have to prove anything to you, Jennifer. I don't have to prove anything to anyone. My fans know who I am. My friends know who I am. My family knows who I am. And that's all that matters. Your fans think they know who you are. But what they know is the character you play on stage and on television. It's not a character, Jennifer. It's me. Really? So you really live on a farm? You really drive a pickup truck? You really spend your weekends fishing and hunting like you sing about in your songs? Yes, I do, all of those things. And you really talk like that when the cameras aren't rolling? This is how I talk, Jennifer. This is who I am. Convenient. Very convenient that who you are just happens to match exactly what sells records in Nashville. Blake shook his head and started walking toward the exit again. I'm done with this conversation. No, you're not done. You're running away because you can't handle someone challenging you. Blake stopped again and turned around. This time his voice was louder. Challenging me? Jennifer, this is not a challenge. This is an ambush. You brought me here under false pretenses just so you could tear me down on television. I brought you here to ask the questions that other people are afraid to ask. What other people? Who exactly is asking these questions about me? Everyone, Blake. Everyone who cares about real music? Everyone who is tired of watching country music get turned into pop music with a twang? And you think you speak for everyone? You think you get to decide what counts as real music? I think someone needs to call out the fake artists who are ruining an entire genre. Blake's voice got even louder. Fake artists? Jennifer? I have sold millions of records. I have had dozens of #1 hits. I have won awards from every major organization in country music. I have been doing this for over 20 years. And you're going to sit there and call me fake? Success doesn't equal authenticity, Blake. And what makes you the expert on authenticity in country music? What makes you qualified to judge who belongs and who doesn't? Jennifer smiled that cold smile again. I'm qualified because I'm a real artist. Because I actually care about the music I make instead of just caring about how much money it makes. You care about the music you make? When was the last time you made any music, Jennifer? When was the last time you put out an album? Jennifer's smile faded. That's not the point. That is exactly the point. You're sitting here criticizing me for making music while you're hosting a daytime talk show. You want to talk about authenticity? Let's talk about how authentic it is for a singer to spend her time tearing down other singers instead of actually singing. I don't have to take career advice from someone who thinks auto-tune is an instrument. Auto-tune? Jennifer, I don't use auto-tune. I sing every note live, every time. Sure you do, Blake. Sure you do. Blake threw his hands up in the air. This is insane. You're just making things up now. You're literally just making up criticisms to throw at me. I'm not making anything up. I'm pointing out the obvious truth that everyone else is too polite to say. The obvious truth according to who? According to you? According to anyone with ears and a brain? The audience was starting to murmur now. Some people were shaking their heads. Others looked like they wanted to leave. Blake looked out at the crowd, then back at Jennifer. You know what I think this is really about, Jennifer? Enlighten me. I think you're jealous. Jennifer's eyes went wide. Jealous? Of you? Yes. Of me. I think you're jealous that I'm still making music and you're not. I think you're jealous that people still care about what I have to say and nobody cares about your opinions on music. Nobody cares about my opinions? Blake, I have a television show. I have a platform. People tune in every day to hear what I have to say. They tune in to see you interview celebrities and play games, Jennifer. They don't tune in to hear your thoughts on the music industry. They tune in because I'm real, because I tell the truth instead of just saying what people want to hear. No, they tune in because you're on television, but being on television doesn't make you qualified to judge other people's careers. Jennifer walked closer to Blake until they were only a few feet apart. And being popular doesn't make you a good artist. And being popular doesn't make you a good artist. Maybe not, but it makes me more of an artist than someone who gave up on music to host a talk show. Jennifer's face turned bright red. Her hands balled up into fists at her sides. I didn't give up on music, Blake. I expanded my career. I diversified. I found new ways to connect with people. You found an easier way to make money without having to put yourself out there creatively. Easier? Blake, do you have any idea how hard it is to host a television show every single day? Do you know how much work goes into this? I'm sure it's hard work, Jennifer, but it's not the same as creating music and putting it out there for people to judge. It's not the same as standing on a stage and giving everything you have to an audience. You think I don't know about performing? Blake, I was performing before you even knew what a microphone was. Then why did you stop? Jennifer stared at him, her mouth opening and closing like she wanted to say something but couldn't find the words. I didn't stop. When was your last album, Jennifer? That's not relevant. It's completely relevant. You're sitting here attacking my music career while you don't even have a music career anymore. I have done more in music than you ever will. I have an Oscar for singing. Do you have an Oscar, Blake? No, Jennifer. I don't have an Oscar, but I have something you don't have. And what's that? A current recording contract, current fans, current relevance in the music industry. The audience was getting louder now. Some people were booing, but it was hard to tell who they were booing for. Jennifer looked around at the crowd. Then back at Blake, you want to talk about relevance? Blake, your last album sold half as many copies as the one before it. Your tour venues are getting smaller every year. The only reason people still know who you are is because of The Voice, and everyone knows that show is on its last legs. At least I'm still trying, Jennifer. At least I'm still putting myself out there instead of hiding behind a talk show desk, taking cheap shots at people who are actually doing the work. Cheap shots? Blake, everything I said about you is true and you know it. Nothing you said about me is true. You don't know me. You don't know my music. You don't know my fans. You don't know anything except how to tear people down to make yourself feel better. Jennifer pointed her finger right at Blake's face. Don't you dare tell me what I know. I know music better than you ever will. I know what real talent sounds like, and it doesn't sound like you. Real talent? Jennifer, you won a singing competition 15 years ago and made a couple of movies. That doesn't make you the authority on who has talent and who doesn't. It makes me more qualified than some Nashville pretty boy who got lucky with a few radio hits. Blake stepped back and shook his head. Nashville pretty boy? Jennifer, do you even hear yourself right now? You sound completely unhinged. Unhinged? I sound unhinged? Blake, you're the one who can't handle a little criticism. You're the one who's having a meltdown on my show. I'm not having a meltdown. I'm defending myself against a host who clearly brought me here just to attack me for no reason. I have plenty of reasons. Name one real reason. One legitimate criticism that isn't just you being mean for the sake of being mean. Jennifer paused for a moment, looking around the studio like she was trying to think of something. You represent everything that's wrong with modern country music. That's not a reason, that's just another insult. It's the truth. According to who? According to you and what expertise? According to anyone who knows what real country music sounds like. And you think you know what real country music sounds like? Better than you do, apparently. Blake laughed and threw his hands up. This is incredible. You don't even like country music, do you, Jennifer? What? You don't like country music. That's what this is really about. You think country music is beneath you, so you think the people who make it are beneath you too. That's not true. Then name one country artist you actually respect. Name one country song you actually like. Jennifer opened her mouth, but no words came out. She looked around the studio again, clearly struggling to come up with an answer. I respect plenty of country artists. Name one. That's not the point of this conversation. That is exactly the point of this conversation. You can't name one because you don't actually know anything about country music. You just know that you think you're better than it. I am better than the garbage that passes for country music these days. There it is. There's the real Jennifer Hudson. You think you're better than an entire genre of music and everyone who makes it. The audience was getting restless now. People were standing up, talking to each other, some heading for the exits. Jennifer looked around at the chaos and then back at Blake. You need to leave my show right now. I've been trying to leave your show for the last 10 minutes, Jennifer. You're the one who kept following me around the stage. This is my show, Blake. My show, my rules, and I'm telling you to get out. Fine by me. I never should have come here in the first place. Blake started walking toward the exit again, but Jennifer's voice stopped him one more time. Don't ever come back, Blake Shelton. Don't ever set foot on this stage again. Blake turned around one final time. Don't worry, Jennifer. I wouldn't come back to this show if you paid me. And I'm going to make sure everyone in Nashville knows exactly how you treat your guests. Go ahead. Tell everyone. See if anyone cares about the opinion of a washed-up country singer who can't handle a little honest criticism. Honest criticism? Jennifer, there was nothing honest about anything you said today. You attacked me from the moment I sat down for no reason other than your own personal issues with country music and the people who make it. My personal issues? Blake, my only issue is with fake artists who are ruining good music. And my only issue is with failed singers who think hosting a talk show gives them the right to judge people who are still actually making music. Jennifer's face was purple now. Her whole body was shaking with anger. Get out. Get out of my studio right now. Blake nodded and started walking toward the exit for the final time. Gladly. This has been the most unprofessional interview of my entire career. Good, maybe it will teach you something about what real standards look like. Blake stopped at the edge of the stage and looked back at Jennifer one last time. It taught me something, all right. It taught me that success in music doesn't automatically make someone a good person. It taught me that some people will use any platform they have to tear others down instead of building them up. And it taught me that you, Jennifer Hudson, are not someone I ever want to be in the same room with again. With that, Blake Shelton walked off the stage and out of the studio, leaving Jennifer Hudson standing alone in front of a confused and uncomfortable audience. The cameras kept rolling as she tried to compose herself, but the damage was done. In just 34 seconds of one shocking comment, Jennifer had turned what should have been a friendly promotional interview into a complete disaster that would be talked about for months to come.